Welcome to Rick's Corner. You know, I did a tribute for Joe Gold, who was really a grandfather of bodybuilding, and he was an icon in the business. And I wanted to also do one for Joe Weider, which I did, and then I didn't want to leave out one other person who also was a big man in the history of bodybuilding. That's Vince Gironda. Vince was born in the Bronx in 1917. He moved out here with his father, who was a stuntman, who actually worked on Ben-Hur. Vince decided to try to be a stuntman himself, and he felt he wasn't big enough, and he joined the YMCA because he saw a picture of John Grimmick. He decided he had to build himself up to be a bodybuilder so he could get more work and maybe look better for the roles and be more athletically fit. He first trained at the YMCA, and he was there for approximately 8 months before he went to the Easton's gym in Hollywood, which I think is still there. It's owned by two brothers. I don't think they own it anymore, but Easton's gym's been there for quite a while. I remember seeing it for many, many years as I drive by. They taught him to be one of their instructors, and they experimented with his training principles of his own for better results. And before you know it, he was opening his own gym in North Hollywood, California in 1948. Well, I was 4 years old then. But he opened Vince's gym. It's on Ventura Boulevard in North Hollywood. It's like a landmark. He had that for several years. He often quoted as saying, bodybuilding is 86% nutrition. And he was also early a proponent of the low-carb dieting, recommending the use of numerous supplements. Now, I remember this. He included desiccated liver tablets, which we used to take like 30 or 40 a day, digestive enzymes, which I do now, glandulars, which I completely forgot about, adrenal and orchic gland, which was to help you to build muscle. I know it sounds disgusting, but I remember taking it in 1970, which I got at Bill Pearl's gym. I'd forgotten about these things because they're really old school. Kelp was another thing, and he recommended, listen to this, 3 dozen fertile eggs a day. Oh my God, that's along with unhomogenized, unpasteurized cream or milk. Now I'm going to tell you about this in a minute. Large amounts of fertile eggs, he said, was equal to the anabolic steroid dianabol ineffectiveness. Now I've never heard that, but this is what he believed, and I don't dispute what he says. However, he was against the use of steroids for physique development, claiming that it was contributed to a grotesque appearance, which it does, and he almost never provided supporting scientific evidence of those theories, but this is what he thought. Now, we know that it's helped a lot of people gain muscle. There's no question about it. It puts you over the edge. But now today, people have gone too far with extreme measures, and they have become pretty grotesque looking. But the bodies back in the days when he was training were basically sculpting bodies. You were sculpting your physique. It was a lifestyle. Sure, you wanted to get big and look good, but you also made everything in proportion. Now, getting back to his eggs and cream, this was very well taken by Rio H. Blair, who developed his own protein, and he developed a cream and protein diet. Rio was a very unique person. He had a health food store over on Western Avenue in Los Angeles. Arnold introduced me to him years ago. I signed an agreement with him. If I would model his products, I'd get them for free. In those days, those products weren't cheap. They were very expensive, but his protein tasted really, really good, and you're supposed to take it with cream. Now, here's the theory he had. If you eliminated your carbohydrates and you took the protein with cream, which was fat, your fat was used as energy, the protein built muscle, and you don't need the carbs. Because when you take all three, when your body takes all three, that's how you develop fat in the body. You have to get rid of one or the other. So if you do fat and protein, eliminate the carbs, it reduces your body fat. Now if you do I tried this carbs and protein and eliminate the fats, I also got lean. So either way, it kind of worked. He had what was considered an orthodox training method. For example, unlike many other physique trainers, he didn't believe in squats. In fact, he didn't even have a squat rack in his gym. For the most of the male trainees, he used what they called sissy squats. And he said squats develop the glute mostly, and you want to keep the glute small and tight, but you want to sweep the thigh. So he prescribed sissy squats, hack lifts, and front squats. Now, you don't see many people doing front squats today, but they are a very good exercise. You have to balance the bar and squat. It's a little bit difficult to hold that bar up in the right position, but if you hold it right enough, it'll stay up there. He called it the thigh squat, and he said that it was great for development. In addition, it was one of the first few bodybuilding scenes to commit that sit-ups do not contribute to the development of the abs. I'm a firm believer of that. I did sit-ups when I was a kid. All it did was hurt my lower back, and so many people complain that sit-ups hurt your lower back. It's true. I prefer leg raises because when you're doing leg raises, you're working all your abs from lower to top. Sit-ups give you this big, bulky feeling in your abs, and it hurts your back. So he never used those. He just did leg raises or whatever, leg lifts or hanging leg raises, whatever. So he also counseled against the use of bench press. He said it was considered an inferior exercise. Bench press did nothing. So what he would like to do is he take a wide grip, either on the Smith machine or the bar, and bring it to the neck. Wide grip light, and he said that worked the chest even better than bench presses without damaging the shoulders. It's called the neck press. He also said that dips on the V-bar were the best pectoral overall development of anything, that the dips actually work the lower pec, which they do. They also work the tricep. So he said it was equivalent to the decline bench, and for Gironda, pec should be a wide slab, not two slabs of muscle. So this was his theory. It's pretty interesting to know how he did. I went to his gym a few times, by the way. When the 80s, 60s rolled around, Vince's reputation grew as a personal trainer. He had pupils winning important contests. Most well known was Larry Scott for the Scott curl. Larry Scott had a phenomenal body. He passed away last year, sorry to say it. He had one of the best bodies in the world, and he was trained by Vince. He won the first IFBB Mr. Olympia in 1965. Bodybuilders who have trained with Vince over the years include Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, Frank Zane, Don Hallworth, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there was Bill McCardle. There was, oh my God, there was a list of guys. And the funny thing is, I'm going to tell you about this in a minute, Gironda became known as the Iron Guru. A former magazine editor, journalist Denny Walter, gave him that name. I remember Denny very well. So in the early 50s, he was very well known, a trainer of both champions and bodybuilders, movie, television actors. Gironda claimed to be able to get a person into shape faster than anyone else, and he did. He trained people like, okay, here we have a list: Robert Blake, Cher, Clint Eastwood, Denzel Washington, James Garner, Brian Keith, Tommy Chong, Gordon Scott, Eric Estrada, and the list goes on. It was a much longer list than that. That's what I found. He also, well, let me say it this way. He had his gym with his bodybuilders in North Hollywood. We had our gym in Venice with the Gold's Gym. It was like two different high schools or two different colleges. We had the West Coast and we had the Valley. We were kind of rivals, but yet we all got along. We all had our own training methods. They had theirs. When contests came along, we all commingled and went out and did stuff together. And many of us, including Don Peters and myself, he was from North Hollywood, I was from the beach. We got a lot of movie shows together, a lot of TV shows, and we worked together quite often. And we would trade training thoughts, and we'd go train there, and we'd go over here and train. It was like two different cities, but we're only 15 miles apart. So it was really kind of fun. In the 70s, Vince wrote countless articles for Iron Man magazine. He managed his own mail order business, started a nutrition supplement company, authorized his own training nutrition manuals, all the still time he was operating his gym. In 1980s, a book was published with the collaboration of Muscle Mag International, Robert Kennedy, who passed away, one of the best publishers in the business, Unleashing the Wild Physique. It contained considerable knowledge that Vince had gathered, tested through the 30-plus years, and the release of the book promoted a promotion tour, and the Iron Guru gave out sold-out seminars throughout the U.S. and Canada. He was very, very well known. In the 90s, growing popularity of very well-equipped gyms, considerable mass appeal to the emergence of numerous personal trainers to the stars, and made it difficult for simple gyms like his to operate. So Vince's gym closed in 1995. After he closed, I remember seeing him at Gold's North Hollywood training. He was getting pretty old, and Vince had a personality either you liked it or you didn't. Oh, come on, like Joe Gold. He could be very sarcastic and nasty to someone he doesn't like. He just had that little attitude, but he was smart. He knew what he was doing. So that was about it. He died in '97 in Ventura County, right before his 80th birthday. It's kind of sad to say, but like I say, without Vince Gironda and Joe Gold and Joe Weider, bodybuilding would have been nothing today. Nobody would have taken that ball that I know of and run with it like they did. I mean, they really made it something. And for those of you across the United States, across the world that don't remember Vince, Google him, look him up. He had an amazing body. He knew how to get into shape. And like I said, he was right. His gym was right near Universal Studios and Warner Brothers, so he basically got all the actors to come to him. And the list I gave you is a small amount of people that he had compared to the hundreds of stars that he trained. So I want to send a tribute out to Vince Gironda. May he rest in peace. He was a very well-known icon in bodybuilding. He made it what it is today, along with Joe Gold and Joe Weider. And let's not forget him. He was an amazing guy. And my hat's off to him. Thank you for watching Rick's Corner.
It's rickdrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.